A very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the West Ham Voice on Monday afternoon. This is an extra show because I will be doing the West Ham Weekly later on Monday night, but I wanted to get this one in, and it's kind of a reflection on the game against Liverpool at the weekend, but more a reflection on one player rather than the whole team. And you'll understand what I mean when I go through what I want to talk about. Now, it's fair to say that there are some players in the current West Ham United squad that divide fan opinion. One player, given his current form, is Mohamed Kudus. Last season, he was the best thing since sliced bread. This season, he's not pulling up trees, mind you. I've got to be honest, he had a great game against Liverpool on Sunday. Another is Thomas Soucek, where some fans remind us of how valuable he's been at the club with the goals that he's scored in the time that he's been here. And others are suggesting that he's not technically good enough to actually be part of a Graham Potter squad going forward. And then, of course, we have the talented Mr. Lucas Paqueta, Paqueta, whatever, however you want to pronounce his name. Now, if you're new to this channel, by the way, it's the first time that you're watching the West Ham Voice, please do consider becoming a subscriber of the channel. It costs nothing to subscribe. All the content is free. And whether you're a subscriber or not, at the end of this video, please do hit the like button because that really does help elevate the channel on YouTube. So let's go on to Lucas Paqueta. Now, one side of the argument suggests that the Brazilian maestro has a great vision of the game, but alas, most players in the current West Ham squad are not at his wavelength most of the time. You see, Paqueta can spot a Hollywood pass well before anyone notices that he's planning to do so. But when a player is on his wavelength, then that pass, if it comes off, and when it comes off, can turn out to be a sublime piece of skill, a moment in football that you'll all be talking about for a long time. And that was almost the case on Sunday when that pass that Paqueta made to Jared Bowen in the second half against Liverpool almost saw us getting a goal back into the game. The pass was very reminiscent of that perfect pass from Paqueta to Bowen, which won us the Europa Conference League almost 2 years ago. Now, had Bowen scored on Sunday, we would not only be reveling in his finishing, the fact that he made that run, but we'd also be remembering who created that inch-perfect pass that helped set up the chance in the first place, the Brazilian magnifico. However, there is the other side of Lucas Paqueta that, as I said, kind of splits opinion amongst fans. Many West Ham fans often get frustrated at the number of passes that just simply don't make it, don't get to where they should be. Misplaced or underhit or overhit, which sort of end up putting us on the back foot. But on that flip side, fans would say, well, at least he attempts to make these passes because we don't have anyone else in the squad that would even try them. And that's true. And then we have the way Lucas Paqueta theatrically dives to the ground every time he's challenged, which can be frustrating and infuriating. And look, it happened again on Sunday. He lost the ball just outside our 18-yard box, called for a foul, which wasn't given, which ultimately led to Liverpool's corner, which subsequently led to their match winner. Now, over the time Paqueta has been at West Ham, we have marvelled at the way he brings the samba to East London. And especially under Potter, he seems to be finally looking at playing some of his best football again. But despite the noise around the FA hearing at the moment, he's managed to sort of knuckle down and get on with the job at hand. Now, despite the threat of a lifetime ban, he's produced some great football over the past couple of months. He looks like he's really up for it. There's absolutely no doubting his brilliance, but there is also no doubting his inconsistency. And it's the dark side of Paqueta's game that most fans often get annoyed and frustrated about. He's got the side of football to him that most fans in this country hate. and have said that it's been brought to the English game by foreign coaches and foreign players. And that, of course, is the play acting, the diving. And now it seems it's gotten to a point that all Premier League referees are kind of aware of it and aware of certain players doing it. And they can be dismissive or kind of like immune to it when it happens. And it looks as if Paqueta's play acting has caught up with him. Now, to be honest, I'm not suggesting for a moment that the challenge on him, which led to the goal, was a foul. It wasn't. We could see he fell over too easily and allowed Liverpool to get on with the job. Now, to be honest, as much as I found that frustrating, I was actually more concerned with the next sequence of play where neither the referee nor VAR wanted to review the push by Van Dijk on Nicholas Füllkrug, which led to the goal. So now that we've affirmed that Paqueta is one of those players that you either love or you hate, you love him for his skill, you hate him for his theatrics, you could see on Sunday in the performance that he put in why we ended up paying so much money for him in the first place. He ran the show, especially in the second half. He was absolutely superb, except, as mentioned, when he dived, which ultimately led to their winning goal. And there is, right there, the conundrum. He was superb on Sunday. He had a brilliant game. He bossed the midfield, but it's the play acting that cost us. But why was Paqueta so effective in the game against Liverpool on Sunday? It was, in fairness and credit to Graham Potter, the tactical switch that Potter made, which made a huge difference. Potter took off Ollie Scholes. He himself was having a baptism of fire against Mo Salah. Scholes is a young lad, and that will have that game would have been a massive learning curve for him. As we were talking in the game, I'm standing next to Wiggy. He said, well, he's got to learn somewhere, and why not at a time when kind of there's not much to play for? So fair play. And he'll learn from that. But anyway, off he came. Aaron Wan-Bissaka moved to the left, and Vladimir Coufal came out on the right. And we maintained our structure, a back three with a wing-back system, etc. But because of that, Paqueta also dropped almost like 5-10 yards deeper into midfield. And that's where he started to spray the ball around for fun. Now, this deeper role allows him to survey what's in front of him, to see what's going on, who's likely to make the runs, and then he pings that ball inch perfect to them. He did this several times throughout the game, and it almost paid off. Some great passes to Bowen, Aaron Wan-Bissaka when he was on the left, etc. He was pinging the ball for fun, and he was so on form that they were 9 times out of 10 getting to where they were meant to be. So that leads me on to ask the question. Once this FA hearing circus is done and dusted, and Paqueta is acquitted, or let's hope so, of any wrongdoing, do West Ham United keep the player or do they sell him? Now, we all know that had the FA not made brought any charges against him, Paqueta will have already been wearing the sky blue shirt of Man City. And he would have gone on to earn much higher wages, and West Ham would have had another 80-odd million pounds in the bank to help with another squad rebuild, and so on and so forth. But Graham Potter now has a conundrum on his hands, because there will be players leaving in the summer, and one of them is thought to be Mohamed Kudus. Almost definitely, clubs will almost definitely be interested in him. And alongside him, we could see the possibility of the likes of Souček, Alvarez, and Naifa Gerd, who's currently on loan, also be sold. Now, those players alone could generate something in the region of 160, 170 million pounds in the transfer market. Now, does Potter want to actually lose Paqueta as well as Kudus? Both very different midfielders, both offering different qualities, but both offering the qualities that a lot of Premier League teams would love to have. I'm sure you heard Arne Slot's post-match talk about 2 players that will make his team, and he mentioned Paqueta and Kudus. Now, Graham Potter loves a player who is technically proficient, a player who knows how to use the ball, how best to pass it, which is probably why, for example, James Ward-Prowse is currently in the team ahead of the likes of Alvarez and Souček. Now, I have also no doubts Potter would love to build a team around the likes of Bowen, Kudus, and Paqueta, but he himself knows that to keep all three is this coming summer is going to be maybe nigh on impossible. Now, look, I don't think Bowen is going anywhere, so then it boils down to who do you keep out of Paqueta and Kudus. Now, I bet if he had a choice, I think Graham Potter would probably rather keep Paqueta than and allow Kudus to leave, because I think he believes he can build a strong team around the Brazilian. And if you think about, if we do generate 160, 150, 160, 170 million pounds in the transfer window, building a team around a player that is technically excellent on the ball, except for his play acting, then you could see some sort of idea of what Potter may be wanting to do. Now, can you imagine the kind of balls that Paqueta could lay off to a striker like Jonathan David to feed off, for example? Now, if the rumours are true, David is impressed with Potter's vision, but one question he's asked is he wants to know who's going to be providing him with the chances to score from. I think the answer really is the Brazilian magnifico. But Paqueta has got to stop the theatrics, and then the West Ham fans will no longer be divided on their opinions of the player.